just found it completely strange, and I was like, I'm just scared to even go apply there. Of course I would.
We're here with
Matteo Venucci.
Okay, cool. Mateo, thank you for your time for sitting down to interview with us for Never Apply. Kind of the first question is, what generation are you? Like a boomer, Gen X, millennial, or Gen Z?
Millennial.
You're millennial?
Yeah,
Okay.
2000, or excuse me, I was born in 85. So,
Okay.
isn't that right?
Yeah, I think that's right. That's right on the edge. It's right on the edge. Okay.
Millennial, one of the two.
Okay. And what do you do for work?
I'm in the hospitality and restaurant industry, consulting right now.
Okay.
So, spent most of my career opening restaurants and assisting with restaurants that have been kind of hit or miss, trying to get them out of the weeds, so to speak. And now I'm looking to do something a little bit bigger.
Okay.
In the ownership realm, and hopefully that I can take all that experience and do something a little that kind of blows my mind, I hope.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think that if there's anything in this world that we have, or especially in this country we have, is food that is cross-cultural, cross-generation. It's just, there's a lot of, the market's there, right? We've got to eat.
We got to eat.
But, you know, it's the task of making it affordable, unique, consistent, but for me it's really something different, something people have never experienced before. You know, you see so much of the same, and it's hard to do over and over and over again, and that's something we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I don't know where and when and how that's going to take shape, but I'm out here right now. My son and daughter and their mother live out here, so
Okay.
I came out here. I'm from Arkansas originally.
Okay.
Austin, Texas, St. Louis.
Hey.
All food.
All good food spots.
Hotels, food, hospitality, that kind of thing. So.
Okay. Cool. Next question is, and you can pick one or two. So, are you currently job searching or happily employed? Let me bring the camera in because we're good for the wide angle.
I don't want to say happily employed. I'm self-employed, so I guess in that respect, happily self-employed.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
I think there's something to that. You know, being self-employed. It looks like you are kind of.
Yeah. This is my startup. This is my big for the moon product for NeverApply.
There's something like challenging, but also kind of scary about it.
Yeah.
It keeps you going. Whereas that monotonous, even if it's not a 9 to 5, it still gets kind of like redundant. You know, factories are really redundant, but when you've been somewhere 5-10 years, even if it's probably a casino where it's something new all the time, it still gets kind of redundant. But if you're self-employed, it's on you, man.
Yeah, it's all
So,
it is. Yeah.
Kind of get your juices flowing every day. So that's where I'm at with that.
Okay. Well, when you were working for people before, what's the most insulting thing you've had an experience with a recruiter or an interviewer ever said to you or asked you to do, maybe to apply for a job?
You know, I don't want to say it was insulting, but I don't know if they put me in a weird position. When I first got into the hospitality industry, I went to Austin, Texas, culinary school, and I went and applied to some jobs, and they kind of threw you in there to, they know your experience, they threw you in there to do a stage where you have to cook 3 dishes for the executive chef for $10 an hour. To me, with that level of experience, it's kind of degrading when they look at it and go, no, next, you know.
Because you put like your heart, or like you're really putting your heart into it.
They know, right? They know where you're at.
They know. They know.
You know, we're in our mid-20s or low 20s or early 20s, and we are basically still in culinary school, and they're putting us through a stage that a sous chef would go through for a $10 an hour, you know, salary position, and then they look at you like you're crazy when you take 2.5 hours. So, to me, I always kept that in the back of my mind when I finally got my shot to run restaurants and stuff, and made sure that I never made people feel uncomfortable, and it worked well.
Okay. Thank you for that. Let's see. One of the other questions is, have you ever lost a job opportunity you felt someone else? Have you ever lost a job opportunity to someone that you felt was less qualified than you?
Yeah, As a matter of fact, one of the last restaurants that opened in a town where my folks live, I didn't live there at the time, but I grew up 20 minutes down the road. There was a new boutique hotel, and I had made it all the way through, and you could tell it was between me and this guy, and he was from Little Rock. I was kind of a local kid, and they just decided to go with him, and he just it imploded after he was hired. I wasn't happy for that to happen, of course, but in the back of my mind, I felt like that there was another reason why I wasn't hired, and I wasn't told that. I don't know what it was still to this day, but everything's worked out since then. So
all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What's the worst job you took just because you needed the money?
Kohler, where I grew up. I grew up in a small town in Arkansas called Sheridan, about 2,000 people. It's like two or three factory. Actually, before Kohler, you go to like a staffing place, and it was a place called Century. I couldn't tell you the exact name, but what they made was plastic airbags that go in the back of diesels to keep stuff from moving around.
Okay.
And I didn't work on that factory part of it. All I did was take a big staple gun.
Yeah.
And I stapled cardboard to the pallets so that they could throw the deflated airbags in these things all day, 8 hours a day.
That's a long shift.
Yeah. And so then I showed up late. I think they had some serious rules. I was like, showed up 10 minutes late one time, 15 minutes late. On the third one, they met you at the door.
After those 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, thank God I was late this time.
He was like, I'm out of here. I'm done. Okay. All right, let's go to section 4. If you can pick one if you want to.
Okay.
Anything on the mind?
I like the first question. No, I don't think the job market is fair. I think this country has gotten out of control with the haves and have-nots when it comes to education. This country's been around for 400, almost 500 years now. There's a lot more to the job market than just a degree. It's not hard to get a bachelor's degree. It's commendable, and I wouldn't even say it's that difficult to get a master's degree. But what I've found is there's something more to it when someone is emotionally and philosophically kind of invested in a certain sector of the economy. If you can find those people, the sky's the limit. I always used to hire people and say, look, I can hire cooks and servers and dishwashers all day. I want to hire people that want to be chefs and owners and general managers. If that's not you, that's fine. I'll help you find a job. And actually, you can come work here for a little while, but at the end of the day, if you're not one of those folks, it's not where it's at. I don't need you to go to culinary school necessarily, but I think you'll want to once you get in that industry, or at least some kind of hospitality degree, because it broadens your base. And unfortunately, this is the unfair part, it pays more. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think that a guy with 10 years experience and that doesn't have a degree, and a guy with 10 years experience that does have a degree in, say, hospitality or culinary arts, you've just got to take that for what it is and really evaluate it. That's the unfair part because they spent money and time, and I did too. So I'm talking about myself because I witnessed firsthand with myself. I was given more opportunities, more money because of it, and it was, I had to really kind of navigate with people that had been in the business a lot longer, and it taught me that this has got to exist other places, and it does. Sales. I don't want to say the medical industry. I know that doctors, and that's a little bit different, but I just take any industry. A taxi cab driver. Why would one guy make more money than another that does the same exact job in a different city? I know that. Of course, we have different demographics and cost of living and whatnot. But as far as the market itself, I don't think we do a very fair job of evaluation beyond a degree. So.
Okay. Oh, that's a great answer. Because I was like, yeah, it's like there's a difference, but it's hard to always count why is there a difference in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to get. I know a lot of places nowadays are using it's not necessarily AI, but it's testing that kind of gets at your what is it called, psychological or mental state. Uh, what
It's like algorithm or
psychology?
psychographics.
Yeah,
or
like a
something like that.
TMJ, or no, I don't want to say that's your teeth problems, but what do they call that? Like JMP. They label these kind of people like you're an extrovert.
Oh, introvert. Like I know you're talking about Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Personality
incorporate
testing.
that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how well we did that one time at a restaurant. Matter of fact, it's this restaurant,
Okay.
Gordo's in Austin, Texas. And the owners at the time didn't want to take anybody that didn't
Microphone, yes.
qualify for what I can't remember. There was a list of kind of a mid-range of people she wanted to go forward with interviews with, and I found it really strange, but also found it really interesting to meet these people after they take these tests. I couldn't tell with that kind of demographic in the restaurant business. I know that they use it a lot in the government, per se. In this country, you've got to take, so many different kinds of psychological tests. I just wonder if it works. And I don't know if, that's something I would use, but not necessarily the way they intend it to be used. I heard about a restaurant in Austin also that did that same kind of thing, a Myers-Briggs things. They looked for actually kind of a negative trait in human beings, which is overly obsessive compulsive. They wouldn't hire servers that weren't obsessive compulsive.
If they weren't.
Right.
Okay. I mean, maybe for a server.
And it's a Michelin star restaurant.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
It will be a Michelin. Uchiko, I don't know if you've ever heard of them. It's sushi.
Okay.
Tyson Cole,
Sounds
sushi
good.
restaurant. Been on Iron Chef. Oh, it's excellent. He does an amazing job. Hires the best of the best too. But I was on a plane with a server going either back to Austin or back to Arkansas for vacation or something. And they were telling me this, and I just found it completely strange. And I was like, I'm just scared to even go apply there. Of course, I would love to have kind of staged there and worked there early in my career, but I didn't do it because I'm pretty obsessive compulsive. And that's what I feel like I've done well in the restaurant and hospitality industry, because it takes that kind of personality to get ahead of what people are thinking. But it's strange that you would hire people that are obsessive, because usually you think about that and you go, hey, there's going to be some negatives that come along with it.
Yeah, there's going to be a...
But these people were really great. It was one of the, I've been to both the restaurants and I've never even had a complaint one, and I'd go again. I will go again once I'm in Austin again.
What advice would you give? So I know you've been in the job industry for a while. Sorry, you've been in the workforce for a while. What advice would you give to the younger generation? Like, especially like we just ended up our graduation season.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be question 15. Sorry, I messed up.
Yeah, I got you.
What advice would you give recent graduates or anyone who's been laid off or just feeling forgotten in this job environment?
It depends on how they feel left out. Or they feel left out of their chosen profession. If so, I would say just go do something. Right? If you feel like you need to just get out there and do something, then do it, because that's when things happen, right? But if you feel like that you did this for that chosen profession, stay at it. Fuck them, because that's what it's about to me too. I got in the restaurant industry. I didn't do anything else. Once I got in there, and any job that I wasn't happy with, I left. And I told people that once I got to the point at which I was hiring folks, that's what I told them. Once you become unhappy here, I'd appreciate it if you leave. I don't need 2 weeks. I need to replace you. Yeah. And to me, it worked. So, and I never had any I've never had any problems with understaffing, that kind of thing. As long as you're, transparent with that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to say, I know that might be a different demographic, folks that went to school, and that's what I was talking about earlier. This is a weird, that's the unfairness of it's kind of like I was talking to someone the other day, it's kind of like the dollar bill in this country. We look at it, we go, okay, we compare it to the stock market, we compare it to the euro and other currencies to see where we're at. Are we doing well? Inflation, this, that, and the other. But in reality, it's right here.
It's all mental.
Right.
It's all psychological.
Most of it is, right? And once you understand that about that, and you can carry that over into, because that's what we work for, is money, right? So what's the difference? And once you can kind of relate the two, that it's all psychological. And until you find something that makes you happy, and you feel like is a good value for the exchange, um, you won't feel left out. I think the question has more to do with not having a job, though. That's a hard one for me because I know what that's like before I got into my chosen profession. Like I said, I worked at a factory and was just miserable. I didn't even make enough money to make it worth it, and so I didn't intentionally get laid off the first one, but the second one at Kohler, I stayed there like 2 months. They make faucets, pretty well-known faucet company in this country. I just walked
business.
out.
I didn't even think about that. Making faucets?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's actually pretty good. Okay. Yeah.
And I just walked out.
Yeah.
And our family in that town knew some of the managers there, and so they gave me a little bit better job than the factory floor. I was driving like a forklift, but it's like it doesn't matter what you're doing if you're just not with it. You're not gonna
feel it. You're not gonna.
It's just so mundane, and it's like the money. If the money doesn't, I know some people that do that. They make so much money they'll do fucking anything, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's like. I haven't experienced that yet.
Must be nice.
I'm wondering. I wouldn't mind experiencing just to see what that feels like emotionally, psychologically, because it seems like, hey, people do it all the time and they're not blowing their heads off. And I know money isn't everything. My parents had raised me that way. They told me to do something I love to do or enjoy thoroughly. Beyond sports, I played sports a lot. Once that's over with, you guys suck it up and go find something you actually like to do in the workforce. And I did. At first, I found something I like to do, but you gotta. I feel like I always had to move up, and I think that's the competitive spirit in myself, and that kind of sport, that athlete yearning to get out still. If I'm not constantly going this way, or at least slowly that way, I'm not. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. So I think that's something I would tell people is try to find a way to continuously get better without annoying people.
That part.
People notice good work.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask all the time, and when you get your shot, just put your head down and do what you know to do. People are going to know if you don't want people to notice you at first, right? That's the way I looked at it. And because if they're noticing you, you're probably doing something negative, or they feel like they need to correct you doing this, or maybe you need some further education and it's going to come out of the company's pocket. That's not a good thing necessarily. You got your shot, you convinced them to get in the door, and then I find there's people that get in there and they're going, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do? Do your job. Right now, just do your job. I promise you. If you're the right person and you're psychologically invested and philosophically you're the right person for that company, you're going to go up really quickly. And that's really the way I kind of see the job market in any industry, probably, other than the medical field. I know that's a little different. I don't want to step on their toes. They're dealing with life and death sometimes. So.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. Last question is, what is your ideal job title? I know you said you're self-employed. You got your own consulting outfit you're doing now, but
yeah.
What is your ideal title?
Honestly, it would be a multi-unit, kind of a multi-unit CEO. Overseeing a group of people investors that want to put money into something, and then just trust you as the CEO to take the reins and make everybody money, and also guide the concepts in the hospitality industry, that whatever kind of sector you're in, because there's so many different things. There's small, fast food restaurants, fast casual, fine dining, uber fine dining, casinos, hotels, and so it's hard to, you're not going to go, we're fast food, casino, we do all this shit.
Yeah.
You got to you still have to segment yourself if you're an individual group of investors, but to be trusted with that title would be, that would be the goal, right?
Okay. The last pivot, just because the promo for the company that we're doing. So the question is, if an AI could handle recruiter emails and follow-ups for you automatically, how much should it cost?
This is just like to set up things.
Yeah. Wait, what's that again?
This is just to kind of set things up for the for the recruiter, like to weed out potential candidates, things like that, or how much would they be doing?
It's basically we take. It's kind of a process because most people they put their resume on like in job boards like Indeed or Career Builder,
Sure.
and they get emails. We did some math and we were like, it's about 250 emails in a month. Problem is people may be looking for jobs, but they don't know that the email came from a recruiter. It's in their spam, or by the time they see it, it's a week later, the position's gone. And so what we did is we automatically send responses so that the recruiter knows, hey, no, this guy's got a pulse.
Yeah.
He's alive. Like he's actually interested.
Yeah, right.
Like, so that it keeps happening. Background. It's like we're just the background.
So, how far do you get to like setting up the meetings?
We keep you get a summary the next day. So like let's say you got 20 emails yesterday, we send all the emails for you. The next day you get a summary that says, hey, these are the people who emailed you yesterday. These are the jobs, their titles, the phone numbers, and if you want to contact them because it's interesting to you, you can contact them. If you don't, forget it.
Yeah.
And then it just happens every day. Because every day the sun comes up, every day recruiters email you, every day we respond.
What now? So, I think it would be interesting if it went a step further, personally, to setting up the actual meeting.
Really?
Yeah, because that's where the time consuming, and you get a lot of wasted time from people, especially in the hospitality industry. I can't speak for other ones, but if I'm looking for a executive chef, you're going to get two things, depending on where you're at, what demographic, what area of the country. You're going to get a lot of people apply.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a lot of people say they're interested, have decent resumes on the internet, but never show up, or show up and be completely full of shit. Now, to me, I don't care about the guy that's full of shit because I can still interview him. It's the ones that don't show up. You waste the time to get a hold of them. You do a short kind of 5-minute synopsis of the job. That's what's time consuming to sit down and do that. So for me, I would say that to get that initial interview scheduled in-house by an AI would be useful. Actually, I think you would save upwards of, depending on what size of the business, at least 10 hours a week.
Oh.
I really believe it in the hospitality industry now.
Okay.
Because like I said, that has been my biggest hurdle. Servers and things like that, the actual guest services. I'm a big fan of AI when it comes to stuff like this because do you use the actual phone? You can call somebody with an AI and you got the guy talking to on the other. They don't even know it's not a real person necessarily.
Yeah, no, we can, I mean, I'm nerdish, so I can build the full thing like that's the van back there. So there's a phone number on there. If you call it, an AI will have a full conversation with you.
Yeah, it sounds like similar.
So it sounds like you're saying is to actually have that do the back and forth.
Yeah, all the way
to setting up the actual interview.
And if it was cost worthy to even go further, like if it was a job where you needed 2 interviews or 1 phone interview and then 2 in-person interviews till you got to the end, to take care of all of it. I mean, that's really where I see AI being very useful. And if you have a big enough company, of course it's going to save you money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, now I know that you have an entire HR department that they spend 8 hours a day, but I don't know. I find that HR is not always in tune with what's needed on the ground. Well, it depends on the size of the business, right?
Yeah.
But you're not probably going to have an HR department if you're not big enough anyway. But that's kind of where
we have no HR department at NeverApply. There's just me, myself, and I.
But
yes.
But if that's what the HR department did, honestly, I could see myself, if I had a big enough business, hiring a guy like yourself in as the HR and letting you run it as an AI program. And if you wanted to, it wouldn't be necessarily like say you were the owner of it, you would send a guy into our business and to handle because it's really technology, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that it's not, hey, you idiot, I know people think that about AI, that they're just going to go off the handles and do something crazy, but it's not. I know it's not like that. Especially with even the talking ones are really, really good. I've been fooled many a day. Um, some people actually like to use the AI to kind of conversate with about their lives. There's the Chat
Yeah,
GPT.
we see. I just have the conversations, talk to her.
Yeah, instead of their husband or boyfriend, or rather like act like that's. They might even call that Chat GPT by your name and ask its advice and see how close it gets.
It's actually like a good solution.
But that's right, and I think that that's where it would be useful in this industry. Now, if you don't think that the technology is necessarily all the way there yet, it would be interesting to see it happen in person. Unfortunately, I'm not the guy right now.
No, no. Listen, you're giving the information. 'Cause, like the biggest thing I found for the situation is like there's a lot of problems, but AI needs to be trained on every. It's like a child.
That's right.
It's a child. You tell it to like, hey, the most simplest thing, like, hey, go down the street and pick up a banana. It's like, okay, what is a street? What is a banana? And what do you mean by go? Like it's crazy. So like, yeah, so for me it's like I got to come out here. Like this was an interview. This was promotional video interview. But what you just told me about, yeah, having it go and do more, it's like, yeah, I can do that, but I'm gonna be sitting in the van for another 3 months just toning it. But it is gonna make you more money. Right? So I guess, yeah.
If you stop there, it's not that difficult to scan through emails and read a few things. If you're and that's what we do for a living, right? Emails, we've been doing that for the past 20 years
20
now.
years, yeah. It's nothing new.
I can look at a guy's resume or a woman's resume and say yay or nay.
Okay.
So for someone to just show me what I got, Indeed does that, right? But what Indeed doesn't, well, they do something else. They don't actually set the interview up. They might now.
There are job boards. So Indeed, Career Builder, Monster, they're job boards. So it's like if you want a job, take your resume, post it up there. If you want to hire somebody, just post the job description there, and then the recruiter or the company, someone else does like the matchmaking, the brokering of like matching them up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. I wonder how accurate that is. Like, to me, I would rather just see everybody's resume that applied to the job instead of them weeding through it. And I think that's where AI can really come in handy. They take care of that initial phone sort of interview and then set up the initial meeting. And hell, nowadays, Zoom is so good, and I know the AI is so good, it can almost look like the same person if you wanted it to. I know there's a lot of possibilities out there.
You're giving me ideas. It's like,
I think you're on the right track with it,
man.
to be honest with you, man, because that's something that there's so much recidivism, so to speak. I think that's the right term. Turnover, as we call it, instead of recidivism's the prison system. But
turnover. You've been.
But you do in the hospitality industry. You get people leaving. They want to come back. They leave, and there's companies that got no hire lists for days. And I don't know unless you do something real fucking stupid, I don't know if I necessarily believe in no hire lists. I think people change, and the industry changes too. So why would you close your doors on somebody? Maybe they were going through something, and I think that's something else that the AI can really flip through information, which is really not AI technically. That's more of a program, right? That you've kind of tailored. To me, the AI gets more at being human-like, right? And that's what I think it's useful for. Taking the place of yourself without being detrimental. Like I said, I would like to learn more. Right now, I'm kind of in the middle. I do see some big things on the horizon, so hopefully I can. This was not happenstance, or it was happenstance.
God's plan. It's the universe. It's the universe.
I believe in stuff like that.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll figure something else out. Somebody will buy your plan, and you won't have to worry about money for the next.
Hopefully.
I know guys like you do. That's another thing. You're looking for, I don't know, Indeed to buy the idea.
That would be cool. If Indeed bought us, that'd be cool. Indeed or like LinkedIn, Monster, one of them bought us. That'd be kind of cool.
LinkedIn is trying to take over big time, and I don't necessarily agree with how they do it either, because they just want people to be like, what do you call it? It's like a mixer, an online mixer.
Yeah, it's like a perpetual. Look, it's like a perpetual conference. Like every day is a conference.
Oh, your picture looks cool, and it looks like you got, but you don't know if that's true.
Anything.
And then it really puts some people in a bad spot who've kind of inflated their profile. So that's another thing that Indeed does really well. They want the physical resume. That puts your feet to the fire, and I think that, of course, an artificial intelligence is going to be able to weed through that kind of stuff and say, that doesn't make any sense. Why would a guy? Because you see a lot of bad resumes. That would be another thing that I could see being very useful. And you say, hey, this guy looks good, but he says he's worked here for 4 years and here for 4 years. Both, it just doesn't make sense.
The math isn't math,
and stuff like that, and that saves a lot of time. So it should be interesting. Hopefully, there's something like this out here, and you never know. Maybe we'll do business one day.
Give me a lot to think about. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, no, yes, certainly. And cut.